Hi everybody, Adam here. Welcome back to our Lego room. Really excited. Today we're going to run some trains again around the elevated train track that we have here in the Lego room. A really cool feature that we built this last year, and love the fact that it covers almost the entire upper part of the main Lego room here. We haven't run any trains on it in a little while, so I want to just get some trains running again, see what's working, if there's anything that needs to be touched up. We're going to be doing some more work with this in the coming weeks, so I just want to get reacquainted with the way it's working currently. Also, really love the view that this provides up here of the main tabletop layout and the Lego room in general. So we will be working on getting some cool camera angles from up here too in future videos. But for today's video, we're going to be running one of our older Lego trains and our Brickmania Lego trolley car around the upper layout here. So let's dive in and get started. So first off here, we've got the Brickmania Lego trolley car running around, working pretty well for the most part. It's on the inner mainline track, so it is definitely showing. There's a couple spots where I can hear it grazing up against the wall. Don't think it's too bad, but I definitely will probably want to get up and tweak the track in a few spots just to try to eliminate that. Love when it comes across that middle part of the room there. That part really worked out well. Happy with the way it looks and functions. I did notice though that when I was starting up the trolley car, it's using powered up, and funnily enough, from that corner where I was starting the trains by the Acro Mills containers, from that corner to over in that corner, apparently just a little too far for the powered up to reach. It lost its connection for a few moments. Which is silly because like this is a pretty small room, all things considered. But anyways, now that I've got the remote out here in the middle part of the room, it is running without issue. And yeah, pretty happy with how that's moving around. Looks pretty smooth, not hearing too many bumps against the wall. Like I said, love when it's coming across that floating part in the middle of the room there. That is the best. Let's move to a different vantage point. So over at the other end of the room now. Really cool to see that trolley car moving around. That's a really cool trolley car. I've got several other trolley cars that are on my list to make. Really need to get them up and running because I think that's a really cool form factor for a Lego train, and happy with that Brickmania model. And it runs super well. Love running it here around the Lego room, but it's also a fun one to run out at train shows as well. So that seems to be functioning as expected, working pretty well. So let's now try to get the other Lego train running on the outer track there and see if they both run together without any issues around the track. So we've got both running now. The red Lego train seems to be moving without issue, which for the most part is to be expected. I wouldn't expect anything to have really cropped up that would make anything, you know, fail completely, but really nice to see it moving around as well as the trolley car. The only thing that I would be curious about now is to see if there's any issues with one of them passing the other one. Again, I think unlikely, especially with these two train cars or trains in particular, because they are relatively narrow, but really cool to see them moving here. Let's move to a different vantage point. Trolley car is gaining on the red train. Should overtake it shortly here, which will be a good test. Past it, that worked out without any issue. I definitely need to get some larger trains up here just to put it through a bit more of a stress test, just to see if there's any issues with the track and the closeness to the wall or any of the supports, just to give an extra little check on any sort of weight related issues. Although everything is super sturdy, I think we could put a lot more on these various structures in terms of load without any issue. I don't think we'll come anywhere near their max capacity with the trains that we have running around here. So that's probably the next test or thing to run and test against. Like I said, I would also like to get some cameras that are specifically on the trains running so that you can see from the train's perspective a cool view of the Lego room. I think it would also be cool to have a few fixed point cameras on some of the corners to show the trains moving around, as well as some different views of the Lego room itself. So we're gonna do some work on that. And I think there's a few spots up here where we could add some additional Lego related builds. In particular, I think on that elevated, there we are, that elevated shelf there, I think there is some room in terms of the depth that we have on that particular shelf to put some, you know, building facades at a minimum, and some different background items built out of Lego that could be pretty cool and would add to the overall look and coolness factor of the elevated track in general. I'm gonna move to the other side of the room so you can see things from there, and then we'll get a couple of views from up near track height. Really cool though to have another couple of trains that are able to be running at the same time as other trains on the main layout and the soon to be lower layout. I think it'll be cool in the end, like if we end up with like at least 6 trains running at the same time, maybe more like 8 or more, that would be just awesome. Really looking forward to some of the running sessions that we'll be able to have as all of these tracks and various loops come together and are at a point where we can run trains sort of unattended on them, which is pretty much where I think the elevated layout and the main table layout are. We still have a little bit of work to go on that lower level layout before we can really start to run trains aggressively on it, but really happy for the potential and just how cool this is going to continue to be, I think. Really happy that we worked on this project. Now let's see if we can get a couple of views from higher up in the Lego room. Such a cool vantage point for the Lego room and for this track in general. Gives you a very different perspective on the layout and the room in general. We don't often see things from this this high up or this sort of an angle either. You can see what I mean there with there being some depth that we can play with on that particular shelf. The only thing that makes it all a little bit difficult at the moment is you basically need the ladder or a stool or something where you can step on to get up high enough for managing the trains. So, you know, turning things on and off, getting things paired up with the controllers. That's a cool view there. It's nice to see the trains coming across that particular floating part of the track there. Such a great trolley car. So, like I said, next steps I think are going to be working on a few little touch-ups to try to eliminate some of the spots where the trains might rub against the wall or some of the supports holding the track and the shelving up in the air there. And then it's going to be running some tests with some other trains in our collection. It would be great to get the Maersk up there, the Union Pacific. Should be fun. Such a great angle over here. I never get tired of seeing the trains coming over that floating section in the middle of the room there. Really neat to see them sort of more up close there. So definitely some interesting projects ahead here. I've also been considering, you know, maybe it'd be worth extending out over here so that we can have like a bit of a siding area where we could potentially stage the trains when they're not running to, you know, have them on display, but also then to potentially have an easier spot to access them for turning them on and off, getting remotes paired up, etc. It's a little awkward doing it in the back corner over there by the Acro Mills. Definitely doable, but you know, it tends to sometimes get a little crowded over there. I've got a number of part bins and set boxes, etc. over there. So I will be trying to optimize that a bit, and we'll look for ways that we can potentially extend this out and improve the upper layout. But super happy with how the trains are working on there today. You know, both of them have been moving really well, no issues. It will be cool to see the larger trains up there, you know, Union Pacific, maybe the Maersk. And, you know, in the near future here, we'll definitely do a video with the trains running on the upper level there, trains running around the main layout, and maybe we can even get a train moving around the lower layout as well to give a bit of a view on what we can start to achieve with these 3 different distinct layout areas. I think it should be a lot of fun. At the end of the day, I just love running trains, and the more trains that we can run around the the room at one time, I think the better. So super happy with what we're accomplishing at the moment, and I think that this is going to continue to be a really fun part of the layout and the Lego room in general. Now, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please make sure to do so that you don't miss out on any of our upcoming videos. And thank you very much for watching. We will see you again soon. Take care. Bye.